if you rented in a plaza, if you rented, you know. Right.
All right, we are live. How are you?
Oh, I beat you here today.
No, first Wednesday in 4 years you didn't call me.
Oh. I assume we had nothing going on. Oh, really? It's my man.
I know.
I mean, we did it.
I figured he was in better hands with me than he would be with anybody else. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready to get going?
Your committee.
Okay. Call this finance and legislation meeting to order. Mr. Baez?
I'm here.
Mr. Malik?
I'm here as well.
Mr. Bigley is here. Got one piece tonight. Just get through it. And this is an ordinance authorizing the Mayor and Safety Service Director to enter into a contract modification with DLZ Engineering for engineering services for Wetmore Drive Bridge replacement. PID 118677, repealing ordinance number 23-019, and any ordinance inconsistent and declaring an emergency. Speak on it?
That's the one I brought up,
Yeah.
that they're gonna need,
7,000.
7,000 something.
Okay. We went over it last week. Motion to bring it out?
I'll make a motion to bring this.
Second?
Second.
Yeah, that's it for legislation. What else we got for this committee?
Yeah,
You know, I was saying something.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, you go first.
Here's a letter. Again, consider what committees you might want to serve for the next term of council. Basically the same thing as last time. Looking for 2 choices to chair, 3 choices to serve on, and out of the 2, we'll pick 1, and out of the 3, we'll pick 2. It was brought up, an idea was brought up to me, either or. If you want to keep the committees the same as they are now, write on the form, keep it the same. When you're done looking this over and signing off on it, or doing whatever you want to do with it, hand them in to Megan. When Megan has them all collected, we'll sit down and go over them and, you know, put them in place. So the first meeting we have in January, of course, we'll have to have a special meeting before the committee meeting. We could do it that night, you know, have a special meeting, then roll right in the committee meeting. And name the committees. You can look at President Council Pro Temp also that night, and anything else for the new term, okay? So think about it, fill them out. When you're done, hand them in to Megan. Megan, you'll keep them in a folder as last time, and when they're all in, give me a holler.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Kat?
Always got something.
Of course.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the happenings at Caslow with Building A and the parking lot there and the 2 different parking lots. I don't know if you want me to read this out loud, but this is something we have to discuss and figure out how to go through this. So in the roundabout scheme of things, the Caslow, they applied for a grant through the EPA, and they were granted $495,000 to do the remediation of the rest of the land over by Building A. With that being said, they talked to us and said they will create this parking lot and they will give it to the city. So they wanted us to put in some of the TIF money for that. I'm going to read the letter. Dear Mayor, I'm writing to discuss the prospect of deploying Struthers TIF dollars in the amount of $26,215 to complete construction of the public parking lot at the entrance of the Caslow Industrial Park. Caslow was awarded a grant to remediate the site. Construction of a parking lot is an eligible expenditure, but the extent of the parking goes beyond the bounds of the affected areas. Some of the additional cost items include extra curbing, striping, driveway access, and universal pedestrian access features. Last week, the port received this was from May. Last week, the port received 4 bids for the remediation and parking lot construction. Brunswick Excavating Company submitted the low bid of $398,887.02. Attachment A details the existing budget showing a $26,215 shortfall from the original $500,000 budget. In 2016, Caslo and the city agreed to a tax increment financing agreement where the collected revenues would be shared by Caslo for infrastructure improvements within the industrial park and the city for improvements to assist with business development in the downtown. It is anticipated that each entity will have approximately $100,000 at their disposal. Caslo, with limited outside grant sources available, is planning on using the entire allocation towards resurfacing the industrial park roadway, which is estimated at $200,000. Attachment B shows the itemized breakdown of the bid. The highlighted items are those specific to construction of the public parking lot, which totals $112,482. With this parking improvement serving the needs of downtown businesses, we are requesting the city allocate a portion of its TIF revenues, only 23% of the total additional cost, to create the parking improvements. So there's attachments here, and I can pass this around.
So they want us to put in 23% of just the paving costs, basically, that are $112,000 extra, is that correct?
Yes. And I have some emails here, I can pass these around as well. This needs to be a conversation. So this
Agreed.
needs to be, and if we have questions, I can bring them back and get them answered. So this isn't anything I'm putting before you, but I need council's input, and if there's any questions, I can get them answered. So we've gotten requests since then with invoices and to complete the construction. Now you all know since then, the building has not been sold. So we got another email, Dear Mayor and Chrissy, just to clarify, this parking lot is not necessarily a private endeavor. It was built in connection with the remediation activities done for the Ohio EPA Brownfield grant. The sale of Building A and connected property is not closed. We cannot say that it is definitely dedicated for private purposes. So I think she's anticipating us saying, well, this is going to be.
So we can't put 23%, which is $26,000, into something that isn't gonna be ours.
Right.
End of story.
So, but what they're saying is right now, it is not considered as part of that sale. The sale has not gone through, it is not completed.
Either way, once we put our money in, that's our interest. So if that's the way that they wanna word that and they want that, then there is no way that this city can sign off on that.
And that's where some of the things that we were discussing too, is that's taxpayer dollars. Can we put it into some, even if it's right now, the impression we're getting is that that is going with the sale of this. Now, is it something we can put that money into the lower parking lot? Because that is going, we have the signed contract saying that that is going to be public parking with Somona. This is where I want you guys
I was
to,
just gonna ask that.
if there's, because I want to get these questions answered and then come back to you with
The
some.
Simona's a great idea to me.
Okay, so that's what we're trading, we've talked about trading, none of this has gone through yet.
Yes.
This is all just talk, so we're going to be, that's all gonna be public parking. We signed off with Somona,
But basically, if we do it the other way, we would be putting city money towards a private business at that point, which we cannot, in good conscience, do as a council. I hope everybody would agree with that.
Right.
This is city funds, that then is basically a private entity, even though I don't believe Caslo is actually, are they deemed a private entity?
No.
They're a,
community
yes.
improvement corporation. So
but
they're
that
their
wouldn't
own-
be a
there's-
good, I don't think anybody's gonna tell you that that would be a good use of city funds.
Okay, that's what
That
we
would
were,
be,
we
Well,
just wanna make sure,
The TIF was created for use in Castle.
it was created for use in downtown Nottingham.
Well, both.
Well, that's,
It-
it was created for I believe it's a 1 mile radius of downtown. So it can be, it doesn't have to remain in Castle.
No, it doesn't.
And I believe,
There's specific projects that.
I understand, but when I was here, and Chrissy, you were here with this too, I don't think anybody's intention was to use that money in Castle. That intention was to use that money to
Castle
help the
has a
downtown.
portion of it to use,
For Castle.
and it was like the city had a portion to use.
Correct, and it was like Castle was getting basically half of the TIF money and the city was getting the half to use within a radius of Castle. However, Caslo's money was for Caslo.
Okay, then my next question is, would you entertain something that says we can put that money into the parking lot that's going to be public parking?
I would be alright.
I
with
would
that.
I think
love to see
everybody,
that.
I think that's everybody.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
just don't, that's pretty much what we were saying, and I didn't tell anybody or talk to anybody because we wanted your genuine feedback.
Yeah.
And you guys know, I never mentioned this to any of you. We want your genuine feedback and feeling on it because that's how we were too. We just wanna make sure we're on the
Is this
same
the
page.
business that's supposed to be going in there that we made a resolution for or something like that?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, but we also should think in the future terms. You brought up a good point, whether we use this for that portion of the parking lot or the Sonoma Valley that is going to be city property or is city property. We do have another business down there that, or two, that actually use that lot as well. And so that would be a good use of an expenditure.
Okay.
That would be a great thing, for using that for the parking, because,
You can get overflow from Scene Field at
right,
times.
and then, not only that, if we bring another business or something down there, you'll have
Yeah.
parking.
And that's, so we obviously want businesses in all those locations.
Right.
That it will be, we feel like that location is actually better for access to the alleyway that will, we're working with the CIC with that 750,000. We actually had a meeting today, with Commissioner Rigetti and her staff and, the CIC members. And one of the projects they're looking at is fixing up that alleyway to make it, I mean, it would still be an alleyway, but make it more appealing for outdoor activities where Nick's is, and then also the area where the recycling used to be. So that parking lot there, we talked about, even with Sonoma Valley, about doing some food truck days and having that be open for food trucks.
Which is great,
Miss-
great idea.
Hot Diggity Dog will still remain there. They're still using the electricity from Simona, so everybody it worked out, but that's,
Plus it'll look, I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it'll look a lot nicer down there than a dingier gravel parking lot that's always dusty and things
but
like
here,
that. I mean,
our other question was, now we won't own, we have to meet up again with the Scene family because their intention was to give us those 2 lots that they own. Now, we won't own the Simona Valley parcels, but we have that, they signed it, we signed it, so it will be, it is
what is it,
according to the
like a
contract now.
mixed use? Is that,
It would be
public parking.
public.
Now, they can, if they have larger events, they have the option of putting out a thing that
Barrier.
says, a barrier that says Simona parking only tonight, or event parking only
Got it.
tonight. So they also have that.
but it won't be
Option.
I'm
It'll
assuming
just
it
be
won't be a
there to-
constant and it
no.
will be for that period of time.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
it would look a lot better down there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you guys have any?
And plus,
With the TIF money, I think we were supposed to, by this time, we were supposed to have a lot more
money
in that fund, and I told you, I'm
We're
learning a lot
getting
more about it.
18,000 a year.
Year,
is what
correct.
comes in.
in our
And
half,
9 is
correct?
ours,
Oh, no, only,
18 between the.
but I thought they told us that it was like 37,000 a year,
They
if
were
I
projecting
remember
more
right.
businesses.
That,
That was.
I think that wasn't just assuming the one business
Because
maybe?
with the TIF, I thought came, I mean, if I remember, it's off of the
10
property
years
tax.
off of any business and they haven't
No,
had any
it-
more but than one
To
business?
my understanding, it was 10
just
years,
off the Aqua
10
building.
years off of the Aqua Building's property tax is diverted.
Mhm.
And I thought that it was like 37,000 a year, but it must only be,
It's like 18 and some change,
okay.
because we get, at each property tax settlement, we get, 9 and some change, 9 and some change.
But I
And
mean,
I
you
can
understand
bring
it
that
on the
list.
other end that we can't
Yeah, we
donate a
want-
portion of our city funds to something that
Like we said,
No,
taxpayer
I-
dollars.
isn't going to
I
be.
said I would never cut a check for something, we don't own the property,
Yes.
one. And I would want a council resolution before I would spend any of that.
And I mean, I think that's just being responsible. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. It wouldn't be responsible for us to use city money on property that isn't ours.
I mean, I think that money specifically should go through ordinance in all of its expenditures.
Would
Because
agree.
the way it was created.
Yeah, I would agree.
And we can bring for the next meeting, we can bring the document that says like what it can be used for, so you guys can look that over too.
Well, we do need to look too, because we may be able to TIF the Old Eagle Antiques building too when it gets redone. That is a possibility. It's supposed to be on new structures, but I think that is going to, because of what it will have to be brought up to all the codes and the renovation, I think you may be able to TIF that and divert those tax dollars, so we get some of that. Because generally, the way I understand it, our property tax goes to the county, mostly the schools, we get a small portion. If they TIF it, I think we get a lot larger portion, yes.
I think we get the schools portion, because don't we have to have the school sign off and give permission?
I think we did
It
have
was
to
so
have,
long ago, but.
it was,
think
but we did, I mean, it's been 6 years, but I think we did have to do something. Maybe we should maybe look into it, especially with all
It's worth
the
it to read.
renovations
look
that
at it.
Yeah.
over the next few years going on in downtown.
Right.
Might be good to keep
See
up
that
on
in
it,
that place,
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more.
Right.
And the buildings did sell yesterday officially, signed off on, so.
What building?
The strip of buildings on the,
State Street.
on State Street.
So they're not gonna get demolished?
No.
We're working with the owner, the new owner.
Oh, you're working with the new owner? So there's,
So
Did
did the
people
corner
save
building
those?
sell too? These,
okay.
What's that?
They would be able to save those buildings, is that what,
Yes.
okay.
We're to do the same thing, they have a time period where it has to be brought up to code and the structure, he is working on it.
So
We had a meeting with
they'll sign documents saying that they understand the building is condemned until it's brought up to code, that it can't be occupied. So,
Okay, so it is condemned,
yes.
Mhm.
it is condemned, so they have to bring it up to code
Just
first.
6.
Yeah, just the
six,
one.
Just the one was
the
condemned.
first one after the law offices. I
So
guess.
is that all the way to, social 22, no, that's
That's
already, that's bought
That's
by
good.
somebody else.
No,
No,
they
the
bought the
whole
whole
strip.
thing.
Oh, they did buy
And
that
he's,
too.
the same owner is closing on Social 22, we believe the first week in December.
Oh, the same people, so it's the same.
Smart on this part. The only way to buy any of those is if you could buy all, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So whoever bought them, if they bought all of those, good for them.
Yep.
Are they planning on keeping like Struthers Nutrition or?
I can't answer that stuff because I don't know.
You don't
That's
know.
that's not something I think we wanna be involved, that's gonna be between them.
Sure.
And I don't wanna come between any of
You're right.
those questions or answers.
I don't know how they stay in business down there, nutrition.
They get a lot of
God, they have a
people.
lot of people.
Yeah, I see a lot
Do
of
they?
people
In
down
the
there.
mornings, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to work there, it seems like there's always people.
Yeah,
honestly.
so I
Yeah.
think the younger
Younger
kids
crowd.
really like that,
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's good.
How about Los Galos since we're talking about?
We're still
So,
there.
we're the same
There's
people.
another possibility where they could be open to a vibrant communities grant.
and there's
So
also
we're,
Department of Development.
DOD.
We're a little
DOD?
behind there.
No.
Department of Development through the state. And then we're gonna be posting this on Saturday morning to
Nice.
Facebook. And we're trying to keep it very small.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay. Well, we would like council to be part of this, just like the 4th of July. So it's gonna be very small, it's gonna be just Struthers businesses, residents, and nonprofits. So we're gonna have a tree lighting after, Santa will kick
What
off
day
that
is
tree
that?
light. It's December 8th.
Friday.
Are we
It's a
still,
shorter
Youngstown's
route.
is the first, we're not.
Yep, we did opposite there. That's why we waited for the date to schedule theirs, but
so council was able to be in the parade
We would-
with their
we
families?
very much want council to be in.
What time is the
Every-
parade?
It will start at 6. It's gonna be a lot different than the 4th of July parade, because this is gonna be more of a
Small,
get in line, and we're gonna go through the
It's
route.
gonna be
It's not,
cold,
we're
too,
not having any judges.
Maybe.
It's candy. You can do candy, yeah.
So
We're
we're
gonna,
gonna-
once we get all of the people registered, then we're gonna send out an email to everybody with all the final instructions.
So we're gonna have Santa Claus there
Yes,
and the Grinch there?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna handle all that. The Santa Claus and the Grinch this year will be handled in-house from the city employees.
So that'll take place of what we did last year.
No, it's gonna be in addition to. So, we're figuring this all out as we go. So, all of this stuff that we had at Mothy is now gonna be in the bay of the fire station immediately following the tree lighting.
Oh, that's good.
So we're gonna
Okay.
get it all down, we're assuming it'll start at
Yeah.
6, we're assuming that the tree lighting will be about 7, and we're gonna say about an hour and a half, 8:30, close up all that. So Amber's
Very
gonna
good.
handle all that in the bay, and then we're scheduling a different day, and I'll get that date to you, where we're gonna go to the same thing as we did last year with the,
tree light, or with the houses.
the winners of the
Houses.
houses.
Yeah,
We knocked that out in an hour and a half last year, we're gonna try to do the same thing, everybody in the van, in and out. I have the date, I just don't remember it offhand. So that'll still be the same. The only thing different with the competition this year is if they won the grand prize, the leg lamp, if they won in the last 3 years, they cannot win in the next 3 years. So we're trying to encourage more people, because we do have a lot of the same people that win, but we want to encourage more people to participate. So this will be getting posted on Saturday morning. It's usually one of the best time to post something like this to get response. So Taylor's gonna handle all the signups and everything, but it's not gonna be like the 4th of July. We're still gonna start at Pizza Joe's, we'll head down 5th Street, make a right onto Wilson, left onto Garfield, and end at the station. So it's much shorter because it may be cold, it's probably going to be cold.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been to a Christmas parade, it's in the dark, it's a lot of lights, it's cold, that's what it is. So, shorter, a lot smaller, one vehicle, can't have more than one. We're gonna learn as we go, so this will be our first year, and I'm sure there's gonna be stuff that's gonna go on. We talked with
Good idea.
Chief Agnon, Chief Roddy, Bob, and Tom Noble are gonna coordinate the streets and getting
Yeah,
all that
because by
stuff.
the chance you have a foot of snow that day,
Then we
that
lead-
path is really gonna have to be clear.
Yeah.
We lead with the snowplow.
Yeah.
We talked
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that. We lead with the snowplow. So we're gonna work everything out, but it's,
Yeah, I think
We're gonna
that's a
try
neat
it.
idea.
I think it's cool too.
Yeah.
but I talked to Stacy Medvick as well, and you know how she puts on the best parade in
She does.
anywhere. And she's there for us to help us go through it and answer any questions, but we told her it's gonna be much smaller, much shorter,
We're still gonna
much-
have the band and stuff like that.
I have to call the band, we're hoping that the band will participate and
Poor kids.
they do all the parades, they do the Youngstown parade.
100, 0.
How many times have you seen them at Thanksgiving Day parade when it was
Come out,
cold, you know?
Yeah,
And it takes them forever to get a band. I walked with
Letter.
them in the 4th of July parade.
that's a long walk, this is obviously much shorter, but we do want, if you have any questions or we're going through this, Megan's been helping us with this too, so, we have a micro committee that we're kinda questions, answers, we'll get them across. I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of questions, but we're gonna just do it and see how,
Roll with it.
roll with it, and then we'll fix whatever we need to next year.
Okay.
You could wear your red shoes.
The
I mean-
festive. I wear those for Christmas and Valentine's Day. What else we got?
Good.
Motion to adjourn?